Once the premium python leather has been legally verified, graded, and sorted, it moves straight into the first processing area of the factory. No unnecessary delay, no slow introduction. Everything begins on a stainless steel conveyor line, where each piece is given its own tracking code. From this moment on, it is no longer treated like ordinary material. It has officially entered a luxury production system. The first step is high-pressure water cleaning. Rows of stainless steel nozzles spray a powerful but controlled stream across the surface, removing dust, preserving residue, and tiny particles caught between the scales. The conveyor moves slowly, allowing the water to clean every section without disturbing the natural pattern. And visually, this part is extremely satisfying. A raw piece passes through a white curtain of water, and the scale pattern slowly becomes clearer, sharper, and more reflective, almost like a gemstone having its first layer of dust washed away. Next, the leather moves to the mechanical backing preparation table. Skilled workers use specialized tools to smooth and standardize the inner surface, preparing it for the next stage. This requires steady pressure and careful control. Too much force can affect flexibility. Too little, and the following treatment steps will not absorb evenly. Then comes the surface brushing system. Mechanical brushes rotate slowly in the direction of the scales, refining the surface and bringing out the natural pattern. At this point, the leather begins to show real character, wild, elegant, and just difficult enough to remind everyone that luxury materials do not like being rushed. By the end of this first stage, the material is no longer rough and unpredictable. It has been cleaned, flattened, coated, and prepared for the most important zone of the factory, the tanning and chemical treatment area. After cleaning, the leather enters the most critical part of the process, tanning and chemical treatment. This is where a natural material is transformed into something suitable for luxury fashion. Not by luck, but by temperature, pH, time, treatment solutions, and a full network of sensors working nonstop. First, the leather is covered with a specialized preserving compound. Large rollers press evenly across the surface, helping the treatment make consistent contact with the material. From a distance, it almost looks like powder being spread over a giant pastry. But this is definitely not the kind of pastry anyone should taste. One wrong move, and the safety department would arrive faster than the camera crew. After stabilization, the leather moves into a controlled temperature and humidity chamber. Here, nothing is done by guesswork. Every parameter is monitored on digital screens: temperature, moisture, drying speed, and material stability. If the heat is too high, the leather can become stiff. If it is too low, the process becomes uneven. So the entire room operates more like a laboratory than a traditional workshop. Next, the leather enters large stainless steel treatment drums. These drums rotate slowly, allowing the solution to reach the structure evenly. The goal is to improve softness, durability, flexibility, and shape retention. This stage decides the luxury feel of the final jacket. A premium jacket cannot just look glossy. It must feel soft to the touch, strong when worn, flexible when moving, and elegant even after long-term use. Technicians constantly monitor pH, temperature, treatment time, and color consistency. A small mistake can cause uneven tone, and in luxury production, almost perfect is still not good enough. When the leather leaves the treatment drums, it already looks and feels different. It is softer, more stable, more flexible, and ready for surface finishing. From here, the process becomes less about chemistry and more about visual perfection. After treatment, the leather is placed onto a metal stretching frame. Automatic clamps hold the edges, while the mechanical system gently pulls the surface from multiple directions to flatten it and stabilize its size. This step looks calm, but it is extremely important. Too little tension, and the leather remains uneven. Too much tension, and the natural pattern may lose its balance. That is why machines handle the heavy work, while technicians watch every small change on the surface. Once flattened, the leather moves into the polishing area. Handheld polishers, soft fabric wheels, and fine brushing tools glide along the direction of the scales. The worker does not press too hard or move too fast. The goal is to create a deep, natural shine, not a cheap plastic-like gloss. Python leather looks best when light slides across the scales and creates a subtle sense of movement. Too much coating makes it look artificial. Too little finishing makes it look flat. The factory has to find the exact balance, glossy enough to feel luxurious, natural enough to remain authentic. Next comes the protective coating. Spray guns apply an ultra-fine mist across the surface. This layer helps protect the color, improve durability, and create a more even reflection under light. Inside the spray room, the ventilation system runs constantly to keep the environment clean, dry, and stable. After coating, the leather goes through a gentle, drying chamber. This is not aggressive heat. It is controlled warmth, just enough to stabilize the finish. Then comes the final heat pressing step. A large press applies carefully controlled temperature and pressure, making the surface firmer, flatter, and more refined to the touch. After this stage, the leather has truly been upgraded. It now has shine, softness, structure, smoothness, and a premium finish. It is ready to enter one of the most visually impressive parts of the factory, digital cutting. This is one of the most satisfying areas in the entire factory. The finished leather is placed onto a vacuum cutting table, keeping it perfectly flat. Above it, high-resolution cameras scan the entire surface. The software analyzes the natural pattern, light and dark zones, color consistency, and the most visually attractive scale areas. For a luxury python leather jacket, cutting is not just about dividing material into pieces. It is a design puzzle. The front panels must look striking. Both sides of the jacket must feel balanced. The sleeves must match the overall flow. The collar needs a strong visual accent. Even the zipper panel must be planned so that the final jacket looks clean and continuous when closed. Then the laser projector displays pattern lines directly onto the leather. Bright guidelines move across the scales like a map of the jacket's future. The software arranges every piece to use the material efficiently while keeping the most beautiful patterns in the most visible areas. This is like an expensive puzzle game. Except if someone gets it wrong, nobody laughs. Each piece of leather is unique. One wrong cut can ruin the visual balance of the entire jacket. Once the layout is approved, the CNC or laser cutting machine begins. The cutting head moves with high precision, shaping each part: front panels, back panel, sleeves, collar, pockets, zipper strip, and decorative details. After cutting, each piece is numbered and grouped as a complete set. Nothing can be mixed. Nothing can be swapped. Nothing is close enough. In luxury production, even a tiny mismatch can turn an elegant jacket into a very expensive visual problem. Now every component is ready. Technology has finished the precision work. The next stage belongs to skilled hands. The cut pieces now enter the luxury leather sewing area. Here, the pace becomes slower, but the precision becomes even more intense. Industrial sewing machines are adjusted specifically for this material. Needle type, thread tension, presser foot pressure, and sewing speed all have to be calibrated. Python leather cannot be sewn like ordinary fabric. If it is pulled too hard, the pattern can shift. If the machine moves too fast, the stitching may lose consistency. The worker begins with the main body panels. Each stitch line is clean, firm, and controlled. Then come the sleeves, collar, pockets, and zipper panel. The metal zipper is aligned perfectly. The pockets are placed with exact spacing. The collar is shaped so that the shoulders look strong and refined when the jacket is worn. Next comes the inner lining. This may be satin, silk blend fabric, or another soft premium material. Most people may not see this part, but the wearer will feel it immediately. A luxury jacket can not only look expensive on the outside, it must feel smooth, comfortable, and premium from the inside as well. Once assembled, the jacket is placed on a mannequin for form inspection. Technicians check the shoulders, chest, sleeves, drape, and pattern balance. If the shoulders are not right, the jacket loses its presence. If the sleeves twist slightly, the wearer will feel it. If the pattern looks unbalanced, the jacket loses its luxury effect. Finally, the jacket enters the detailed inspection room. Under strong inspection lights, specialists examine the stitching, seams, surface shine, color consistency, scale texture, and finishing quality. A loose thread is removed. An uneven reflection is corrected. A small finishing issue is marked and fixed. Only approved jackets move to the final stage. They are cleaned, placed on shaped hangers, covered with protective garment bags, and sent to premium packaging. From verified leather to cleaning, chemical treatment, stretching, polishing, heat pressing, laser cutting, hand-guided sewing, and final inspection, the jacket has passed through a complete luxury production line. One jacket, dozens of steps, modern machinery, skilled craftsmanship, and millimeter-level precision. That is why, when light slides across the glossy scale surface of the finished jacket, the viewer does not just see fashion. They see an entire luxury factory working like a perfectly synchronized machine.